Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. In this week's episode, I'm talking to Ryan Evans. Now, he's a professional golfer playing on the Challenge Tour at the moment. He has reached the heights of the European Tour, so we're going to talk about how he made it through the ranks and got his card to play on the tour. We also talk back at some of the top tournaments he's won, and then generally how he got through some tough times and come out the other end really well. We also look back at the time when he played at the Open at Royal Troon with Colin Montgomery. It was a really good chat with Ryan, talking about his ups and downs and how he come through them. I hope you guys enjoy the podcast too. So please welcome Ryan Evans. So hi Ryan, and welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Getting by. Hopefully we won't get another wave of lockdown, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But fingers crossed we can get out still and play golf.
Yeah, Boris making some sort of announcement, isn't he? So
yeah, so we'll see how we get on with that one. But
it's
not too
strange
bad.
Times.
Exactly. Anyway, so for people who don't know, can you just give me a quick introduction on yourself and what it is you're doing?
I'm Ryan Evans, professional golfer, currently on the Challenge Tour. Have played European Tour for 2 years, and this is my 4th year on the Challenge Tour.
Good stuff. That's good to hear. So, point of these podcasts is to really get to understand the golfers like yourself, where you've come from, where you go into, bits in between, and then towards the end, we'll start talking about sort of the tips that you give to aspiring golfers as well. So, Let's just start straight in. When did you start playing golf?
Started playing when I was around, I think it was about 12, 13.
Okay.
I was a big footballer when I was younger. That was the kind of path I wanted to go down. I wanted to be a footballer.
Yep.
I think breaking my leg when I was younger, quite a nasty break, didn't really help. Sort of stopped me in my tracks a little bit and didn't really pursue it much after that. Tried to play a little bit, but nothing too serious. And it was my dad that actually got me into the golf. So started when I was I think it was about 12.
Okay. How did you break your leg?
Footballing. Training. It was I was one of these kids that didn't think I'd have to wear shin pads when I went to training, and unfortunately one day one of the lads completely took me out and snapped my leg in half. So that was a painful 9 months recovery.
Yeah, that was nice of him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sort of the recurring theme does seem to be that sort of reason people get into golf is mainly because of their dads. So how was your dad a really good golfer, a competitive golfer, or was he just like it for playing the fun of the game?
No, very competitive in terms of club standard. He's quite he was very sort of, he was into all of his sports really. Played football when he was younger, badminton, played cricket, obviously played a bit of golf, he played darts, so he played all the sports. Then he really got into his golf when he sort of retired from the club cricket and football sort of thing.
Okay.
He got down to a 4 handicap, and he used to play and practice every day before he went to work on a back shift. So he started at 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
He used to go to the golf course 7, 8 o'clock, play 18 holes, then go to work. And then if he ever did a day shift where he finished at 2 p.m., started sort of 6 to 2, he used to always go and play golf after work. So he was mad on his golf and introduced me to it, and it gave him even more time to get out of the house because he used to take me with him. So
it's not a bad life.
The one that got me into it.
Playing 18 holes every day, I'd quite like to do that.
No, yeah. So he loved it, but he doesn't play. He doesn't play much these days, which is a shame. He spent a lot of his later golfing days traveling up and around the country with me, taking me to events really, because he wanted to come and watch as an amateur. And then he hasn't really picked up a club since. I don't know why, but he's kind of
maybe you need to revive that the love of the game again for him sometime.
I know, yeah. I ask him to come out all the time, but I think he'd rather just sit in a buggy and watch me play now.
Fair enough. Okay, so obviously, if he got you into the game at around 12, you could say it's kind of late compared to most people when professional golfers. Yeah. So what was the path then? What happened after you started playing? Did you join the club and sort of fall into love of it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I joined my local golf club It's called Stoke Albany. It's not there anymore, the golf club. It's been sold on. But I joined down there with a couple of other juniors from school, and just, played every day in the summer like you do as kids. We get dropped off first thing in the morning. Mum and Dad go to work, and then they come and pick you up when they finish work. I was almost like him, playing golf as much as I could, but didn't really progress that well in terms of, some kids these days, they're off scratch by the time they're 14.
Yeah.
I don't think I got down to scratch until I was nearly 18, 19. So
okay.
It was actually quite late, really.
What would you say the cause of that was?
Probably because I just played golf for a bit of fun. Not really. I wasn't that serious about it. It was more of just I enjoyed it, but I didn't practice. I would say, like, it wasn't as if I was like, I want to be a professional golfer.
Yep.
It was just I was playing golf with my mates.
Okay.
And we'd go down there, and we wouldn't be grinding on the range or doing putting drills or anything like that, like you do these days. We were just playing golf and having a laugh.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't until I was like, I think I won our county championship when I was 19. And then I think from then I was kind of like, I'll probably try and give this a bit of a go. But still, I was only +1 at 19.
Right.
So I wasn't still that good. I couldn't get in any of the national tournaments because my handicap wasn't low enough. I still wasn't really that good. So, and then it just turned around very quickly from sort of, I would say 21 to 24 was a quick, rapid drop in handicap, playing in big tournaments and eventually winning some as well.
Okay, great stuff. Well, that was actually going to be one of my questions going on, because obviously you turned pro in 2014 with a handicap of plus 5.1. Now, a lot of the golfers I've been talking to, they go, I was +2, +3, +1 when they turned pro. And I was wondered why yours was so low before you turned pro.
I think what I wanted to do is I was never in a rush, which I kind of look back now and kind of think I wish I had a bit more drive and a bit more determination when I was younger, because I turned pro when I was 26, 27, and that is quite late in this day and age. But if I'd known what it meant to me now back then, I'd have turned pro at 21.
Right. Okay.
And just gone through the ranks, because the love for the game wasn't really there when I was younger. It was just a sport to play.
Okay.
And also you learn so much along the way. I wish I'd done a lot more when I was younger.
Yes.
But back then I didn't really know about it. So I can't really criticize myself too much, because, there's so many more, things to do this day and age, with TrackMan and stuff, and you've got access to the internet. I'm not saying we didn't have the internet then, but like social media is massive now.
It's okay. I come from an era where there was no social media till you was 25, 26, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, so really, social media wasn't massive when I was 21. It was sort of the start of it, I would say. So, this now, you've got access to so much more, like coaching, people giving you online tips, drills to make yourself better, things like that. Back then, it was just me and my coach, play golf and see how I got on, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a question I was going to have as well, because obviously nowadays people have got, people have got mentors, they've got mind coaches, they've got putting coaches, they've got like you said, all these things at their disposal. What was it that you had when you were going through, like your 18, 19, 20-year-olds trying to get down to a decent number to turn pro?
I had my coach, Shane Rose, who I've been with for 17, 18 years almost.
Right.
Maybe it was, it wasn't much longer after when I started playing golf. I went to a couple of junior county events. Not that I was any good to compete in them, but then I started seeing a coach from the county, within the county, and then again we were working on my game, but it wasn't working on it to become anything. It was just to get better at golf.
Yep.
And then obviously your goals change as you progress and get slightly better, and you can see yourself going somewhere, then your goals slightly change. And like I say, mine changed a lot later when I was around sort of 22, 23. I started playing in some of the national events, started competing, and then I felt like, right, well, I want to get in the England squad now. And then that was my goal. And then that was the goal with me and my coach. And I was doing so much data on why I was better than some people or why I wasn't as good as others. And I was always ranking myself within the rankings. So when England have their Order of Merit, they have obviously the Order of Merit on the amateur events throughout the year. And I was always like, well, why is he getting picked for England? And then I would sort of go into his profile and see where he's finished in results and then in tournaments. And then I said to my coach, right, I need to make the cut here this week and top 30 it because that's a decent week in this such and such event. Or I'd be like, I need to go to this event and top 10 it because it's a slightly weaker field and I need to show that I'm better than some people but not as good as others. So back then I was very goal driven in wanting to make the England squad. And then when I won the South of England trophy, then I got picked to represent England in the south of France. And then it just spiraled from then, working up the ranks within England, really.
So would you say, obviously, like you were goal orientated, you actually hit quite a major goal, really? And did that kind of just spur you on and think, well, I can do anything now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it used to always be about making a cut, and then it would always be like top 30 is a good result, and then it's like top 10 and then top 5, and I'll try and win. And then once I've won, I was kind of like, well, I could win again. So I definitely had that confidence of feeling like I could win again at the amateur level. And when I was in, I think it was the 2013, 2014 season, I did win quite a lot of tournaments, and I was just on the wave of confidence and, you know, feeling like I was the best at every event that I went to. And I think that's really important when you are playing well, is to just stay on that wave and ride it for as long as you can, really.
Okay, so obviously 2014 you turned pro. 2016 you went to qualifying school for, was it the Challenge Tour?
Yeah. So no, 15, I got a couple of invites onto the Challenge Tour, and then I'd earned enough points to play the rest of the year on Challenge Tour.
Right, okay.
And then went to Q School in 15 and got my card for
great stuff.
Main Tour 16. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's good stuff. So what was that like? Was it like going through Q School or going through everything you just done?
Well, it sort of happened. It happened really quick, really. I kind of like got these invites onto Challenge Tour. You know, got enough points to play the rest of the year on Challenge Tour. Got to the grand final. Had an opportunity to get a main tour card at the grand final, and I think finished like 24th. I think in that season. Then it was like a rush straight to Q School, so it wasn't even a time to reflect on how the year had been as a first year as a pro. Really, it was like straight to Q School. You got your chance to get a card at the finals, and then I finished 19th at the grand final and walked away with a European Tour card. And it just happened. For me, I felt like it happened so quick. It was almost like turn pro, invites, got enough, Q School card. I was like, wow, I've done it. And I was like, okay. And I kind of feel like that was also a good thing and a bad thing, because my goal when I turned pro was to have a European Tour card, and all of a sudden a year later I had one. Right. And then I kind of got lost on setting goals. It's almost as if I'd reached my goal. Right. Okay. So I was going to say, I feel like that let me down. Yes, I was going to say when obviously the whole point of goals is once you hit a goal, you set another goal and it's another goal. But if you've hit your ceiling, where else do you go? And I guess that's kind of and I feel like that's where I feel like I've let myself down from that point, in terms of obviously as a kid or whenever you want to. Whenever you get the feeling that you could become good enough to be on, the European Tour, I've watched golf my whole life, and I've been like, I want to get there, and that's my goal. I want to get there. And all of a sudden, I was there, and it was almost like I completed what I had, strived to do. Right. Okay. And then I didn't really, I don't know why, but I didn't really set another goal that season. It was almost like, I've got my card, let's just enjoy it. Mm-hmm. when I should have probably set goals and pushed myself even more. But you're almost starting at the bottom again. It was almost like I started as an amateur again, like, right, okay, make a cut this week's good. Try and get a good result here and build yourself up. And what I felt like I didn't do was make enough cuts and build myself up and give myself, and then the confidence went a little bit, and then all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, maybe I'm not good enough.
Yeah, like you said, you could have gone back to what you were doing when you tried to work out the guys on the order of merits, couldn't you? You could have gone back and gone, okay, why is that guy making cuts all the time, and go in and assess their game and then apply it to your game, I guess. I could have done, and I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't. I just felt like, I don't really have an answer for that. And I'm thinking about it now, I kind of feel like that's where I let myself down a little bit. I wouldn't say you let yourself down, but obviously that's how you feel. But I think you've managed to kind of maintain a reasonably decent level since, obviously, 2017. You won the Turkish Airlines Challenge on the Challenge Tour. Yeah. So you got 8 top 10s that year, I believe, as well. So
yeah, I did. Yep.
I mean, some would say that's success. Personally, I would say that's success.
I would say that
at your level, it's completely different. So,
I would say it was a good season for me. I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't win again that season, because I gave myself, like you say, probably 7 more good opportunities to win.
Yeah.
Probably realistically, maybe 2 I could have won. The rest would have required some either exceptional golf over the last few holes, or someone to sort of falter down, their last few holes. But there was definitely 2 more chances that year I could have won. And I think about it, I should have won, but I didn't. But you've got to, you've still got to take the positives out of the year. You can't turn around and say, oh, it was a bad year, because it wasn't. It was a good year. I finished 8th on the final rankings of the Challenge Tour, and I got my card back, which is what my goal was, to get it straight back after losing it in 16.
No, great stuff. So again, so after that experience, like you said, of losing your card, did you then start setting yourself goals again?
Yeah, I set goals with my coach about, what I have to do, first 5 events, where, put yourself in for a chance to win. Luckily, I won the second event. Then, to be honest, it was again, if you got the chance to look at my results, I think I'd made the cut in Kenya, finished 30 odd. Second event was Turkey, I won. And then I think the next 4 or 5 events, I missed all the cuts.
Wow.
And my game the week after was Portugal, the Portugal Open. I finished 15th. Then I missed 4 or 5 next cuts. And I think that was basically down to this whole goal thing. I'd reached my goal of winning on the Challenge Tour.
Really early.
And then I didn't I can't remember if I reset more goals, but I don't think I did, because I was just constantly playing tournaments. And then I went on this spiral of missing cuts and playing awful. And it was almost like I'd hit my goal, and now that was it. And that's why I sort of started playing poorly.
Yep.
And then obviously went back to my coach, and we reset more goals and said, right, well, this is the position you're in. You've got to improve on that position. And then I got a caddy on board, Ryan Sander from Australia, and he helped, because it was just something new. I feel like as golfers, if something starts failing you change it, so you get something. So I was struggling playing golf, so I thought, all right, let's get a caddy on board. Yep. I've earned some good money the first few events, let's get a caddy on board and have a caddy for the year. So I really felt like he was really good for me, because it was a fresh face, someone else there to chat to. If you're having a bad day, or a bad round, you sort of vent onto your caddy, sort of thing. So I felt like that helped.
No, 100%.
That definitely helped my year.
Yeah, so because otherwise it's you and your thoughts walking down the fairway, which is obviously not the best thing in the world, as we all know.
No.
Bouncing ideas off a caddy, even when you're playing with mates and you ask them for their advice, it's always good to get that reassurance. So that's the right thing I should be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
But no, okay, well, it's great you actually got a caddy. You still play with a caddy now, or?
I do certain events play with caddies. Yeah. Obviously, this year we've been restricted a little bit. Of
course.
Certain tournaments we're not allowed them, so it's a little bit on and off. And I think unless it's a friend or someone close to you, it's hard to have the same person every time you are allowed a caddy, because caddies obviously need to have a full-time job themselves. They need to be with a player that's playing every week. And on the Challenge Tour, we're playing 2 weeks on, 6 weeks off.
Yep.
it's hard to get someone to commit with just you, really.
Okay, interesting stuff. Okay, well, I think that's pretty good insight into, like you said, just how tough it can be when you get to the top. And obviously, like you said, you kind of got there. Maybe it was a bit of an anticlimax. You didn't quite know what to do and set yourself new goals again. But you learned from your mistake, and you've grappled it and you've moved forward, which is what I think is really good. Yeah. So well done. But all of that led up to you did play at the Open at Royal Troon.
I did, yeah.
What type of experience was that?
Probably the best tournament. Well, yeah, definitely the best tournament I've ever played in. Right. Just to qualify for it was a grueling day. You know, the pressure. There's only 3 spots. There's about 80 odd guys, and I actually played with Paul Dunn at Woburn.
Right.
He qualified first. I qualified second, and then Robert Rock qualified in the playoff for the 3rd spot. So that was it was awesome.
So he's in pretty good company there, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was, and it was a tough field. You know, I think that year Monty played in the qualifier. You know, everyone who's playing's got either a main tour status or a challenge tour status, pretty much. So it's, you know, I think it's one of the toughest fields to qualify in.
Definitely.
So to obviously qualify in the top 3 was a massive achievement for me.
Great stuff. So obviously you went off to Royal Troon.
Yeah.
How did you get on? Did you score well, play well?
I played good. I first 2 days I played with Xander Lombard and Callum Shinkwin. We teed off at 4:19 p.m.
Okay.
Last out, so it was it was a long day waiting around. You know, I was really excited to get going, and it's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, right, 6 hours, and I'm like, right, I'll go down the club, and then I'm like, why am I going to the club 6 hours early? I'll just be, you know, itching to hit balls or do something. So I don't actually think I turned up to the club until about, I would say, 1 o'clock. I mean, that's still probably a bit early, but I had some lunch, you know, chilled out a little bit, watched a bit of golf on the telly.
Took it all in.
And then, took it all in. You know, it's my first major. I wanted to be there as long as possible, really. Then, played with Callum and Xander the first 2 days, shot level the first day. Second day, shot 4 over. I actually 3-putted the last and had a look at the scoreboard, and the scoreboard said cut line +2.
Oh, man.
And I thought +3 would get in because it still had the whole afternoon to go.
Yep.
And I was like, I've missed it. And went into the locker room, and all of a sudden the weather just turned 360 and it was horrendous. I mean, I was having sort of what was I think I was having some food in the players' lounge, and the rain was coming in sideways, the wind got up, the commentators on the TV were saying this is awful out here, and I was just watching that cup move, and it went to +3 really quickly, and I was like, this might go to +4, I might make this. Then later on the day switched to +4 and I'd made it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe but the weather did me a massive favour with that. The open weather can just turn and it can do things like that, so that was a massive favour, but it was great to play the weekend.
No, great stuff. Who did you get paired with on the weekend, you know?
I actually played with Colin Montgomery on the 3rd round, which is his home course, so there was a lot of people around, and I was pretty nervous.
I was going to say, how did you handle the pressure?
Well, the first hole at Troon really is kind of a 3-iron sort of pitching wedge, 4-iron pitching wedge, and I was like to my caddy, just give me the driver. I was like, I'm not hitting an iron. I said, I don't even think I can hit an iron. It will look so small, so just give me the driver. And I just remember ripping this driver about 10 yards short of the green, and I was like, perfect. That was it, off and running.
Happy days.
But it was good. It was a good experience. He was a really nice guy. He didn't have the best of days, so I kind of tried to stay out of his way a little bit. But apart from that, we had a couple of chats, and he came across really nice.
No, nice. What was your final finishing position on that weekend?
I think I finished 58th on my own. So
that's pretty respectable.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best of weekends. I think I finished plus. Do you know what? I know this sounds really bad, but I'm so bad in remembering dates and scores and stuff, unless it was a good result. But I think I finished +8.
Okay.
So that was miles away from Stenson's
of course.
incredible win, but it was just great. First major 4 rounds, got to experience it all. It was really nice.
No, amazing. I was going to ask this question later, but I'm going to ask it now. But if you could win any major, what major would you want to win?
The Open.
You want to win the Open, yeah?
Yeah, I think being English, British. I was brought up on links courses in the amateur game. I've been very fortunate to play a lot of the main amateur, the main open circuit courses.
Yeah.
So for me to lift the claret jug, I think would be the one I'd want to win if I could win one. Obviously, the Masters is the Masters at Augusta.
Yeah.
The US Open is, their equivalent. But I think the Open for me.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. Okay. Well, you've just got back yourself from Portugal, where you was out there for a couple of days trying to play in the Portugal Open. I know you. Yeah. I know you unfortunately missed the cut with a +3, but what was it like getting back out and playing competitive golf after everything we've gone through this year?
Yeah, it's nice. Obviously, you want to play every opportunity you can get. It's just I've found it a struggle this year to be motivated in terms of, I always find myself, I like to work towards events. So I know what I'm working on when events come, but we could have 6 weeks off and then the event could just get cancelled because we don't know what's going on. So I found it a struggle this year I think a lot of people, have, and some people have used the year to, really get stuck into working on things in their game. But I've just struggled to, I think, mentally and physically get into the mind frame of preparing for an event, because we'll play one, then it's 3-4 weeks off, play another one, 3-4 weeks off. I've always found that I play better if I play continuously.
Okay.
So, if there's a run of 6 events, I would like to play 6 because I know potentially the first 2 might not be great. But then I've sort of got into it a little bit, and then the 3rd, 4th, 5th week could be way better.
You got into the flow of things, and your confidence is getting up.
Yeah, I think it's also getting that card back in your hand. You play. I'll play with my mates at my club for 3 or 4 weeks, and then it's all right playing for a bit of money on the side. But then as soon as you get your card back in your hand, it's a different feeling. No, and I always feel like sometimes that first week I struggle, and if there's only 1 week, unfortunately, I missed the cut by 1. So I haven't got the next week to, make up for it. Yeah,
it's always going to be week one every time you try and get out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I found it a struggle this year, to be honest, and I probably wouldn't be the only one.
No, I bet you're not. Well, obviously, if nothing happens and we are still free to play, what's your next tournament on the line?
So I am now taking some time off until the Spanish event in November.
Right, okay.
I've got a couple of personal issues that I need to sort out. But there's 2 events in November in Cadiz on the Challenge Tour. So that's my next 2 Challenge Tour events. But I will be playing some little, hopefully some of the mini tour events in the UK leading up to that, just to get myself a little bit sharper, ready for them 2 events, really.
Because talking about little events, I think it was before lockdown, you played in the Sunningdale Foursomes, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
With your good friend Charlie Hull. What was that like, playing in that?
I was probably more nervous playing in that with her than I have been stepping on the tees at these Challenge Tour events because I felt like I didn't want to let her down. Yep. She is incredible. She's an incredible golfer. We play and practice quite a lot back home, and she, to be honest, it's a really good game. She wants to beat me every single day. She plays off the men's tees. She doesn't want shots. She wants everything even playing field. And we have some really good close games. She is probably beating me in the tally at the minute, which is not easy to take. But I think it's great for both of our games because I don't want to be losing to her every day.
No.
And I know she's going to be playing great every time we peg it up. So, it makes me try and play a bit better or score a bit better. But I was actually really, she made me take the first tee shot, and I was so nervous because I was thinking, please just find the fairway. I don't want her giving me the evil stare that I've knocked it in the trees. So, But it was great fun. We had a great week. Obviously, we didn't get as far as we wanted, but we had fun.
No, good. I actually played with Charlie a couple of years ago in the Golf Sixes.
Okay,
Even back then, she was competitive, and you could tell that she wanted to win everything. So I can imagine what she's like.
She wants to win every time. Every time you pick it up, she'll want to win, and that's what I need to. I caddied for her a couple of times in these ladies' road series, and I did a couple of rounds at the Scottish Open for her, and I can see it in her that she's so determined to be the best, and I feel like I need to get that drive back into me.
Yeah.
I had that drive a few years ago, and it's kind of dwindled a little bit. I don't know why, but being around her a bit more, she fights for everything. So it was great to see that, and I'm trying to put that back into my game now.
Well, that was actually be one of my questions as well, is being around someone like her and seeing how driven she is and how she's making waves through the women's game. It's only got to really sort of make you more motivated to do it as well, really, isn't it?
Definitely. It's made me more motivated in terms of I'm trying to put a bit more into my fitness. There would be times whenever we have off weeks, it might just be me, but there might be others out there. I see an off week as, just taking some time out, recharging, get yourself, mentally ready for the next sort of 3 weeks of travel, where she'll be down the range 8 o'clock on her off weeks, hitting balls, getting better, chipping, putting. So the last sort of couple of months, I've found myself going and practicing with her more, and I definitely feel like my game is moving in the right direction. It's just piecing it all together in tournament weeks, but I definitely feel like putting in more and more time, more practice, competitive practice with someone like that is definitely helping me progress.
I like it. That's why I need to find someone like that.
I think it's it's when I went to the States to practice a couple of years ago, and it was competitive practice every day. And sometimes when you haven't got someone in your area that you can practice with competitively, you sometimes lose the drive, because I always feel like I need someone to compare my game against or to have a bit of competition with, because it's so easy just to go and play golf with a couple of mates off of 8-9 handicap, and 4 hours have gone and you haven't really thought about any shot you've hit. You've just hit the shot because you just step into it and hit it. Whereas if you're playing with someone like that who wants to beat you, you end up concentrating a bit more. So I definitely think it's helped with my focus and my practice a lot more, having someone like that to play and compete with.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, I think it's definitely true that they always say if you play with better people, you get better yourself. So it's only definitely it's the best thing to do, isn't it? So, no, good stuff.
Yeah, okay. No, I agree with that.
One last question, kind of a generic one, really, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When you were growing up, obviously when you started playing golf, you started watching golf, and you grew up doing that doing that game. Who is your favourite golfer?
I think you're going to struggle to find anyone that says anyone different than Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I know. I knew it would be the answer, but I've got to ask you questions.
I mean, he was kind of, as I was, sort of, I think 18, 19, he was, for me, the best there ever has been. I mean, I wasn't around to witness all of Jack's and, all the greats back in the day. He is my era. So for me, he is the best that's ever played the game. 100%. Obviously, Jack's got 18 majors, Tiger's got 15 now, but he's definitely the one.
All right, so you got Tiger. Who's your other two players for your best football you want to play in?
I think me, Tiger. I'd love to have a game with Brooks Koepka.
Okay.
Because he's now this, obviously Bryson's just won the US Open, but he was I would say the original getting big, strong, hitting it a long way. He won them 4 majors back to back. The 2 US Opens, the 2 PGAs, and I think it would just be great to see. I think he's dead cool, dead chilled out. He's very driven as well, but he's so laid back.
No,
so it would be interesting to see how he goes around his game. And if I could, probably going back, because I really enjoy watching his golf swing, it's probably Sam Snead.
Right, okay.
Just love his golf swing. I've tried to, I would say, not mirror his swing, but I just love the certain moves that he has in his swing and the way he swung the golf club.
No, good stuff. That's an interesting football. I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. So thanks for that. I think that's a wonderful insight into yourself and giving people understanding of what it is you've gone through from starting at the age of 12 through to today. And hopefully we can start seeing you in some more tournaments on the Challenge Tour and starting in November with the Spanish tours.
That's it, yeah. Just straight back into it in November. I'm going to work hard and get myself right in the right frame of mind. And
good stuff.
If it doesn't happen in November, let's get ready for 2021 and hopefully we can get back to some normality.
2021 is all of our years, I tell you. Everyone's going to
That's it. We're all waiting for it now, aren't we?
Exactly, can't wait. We'll finish off with the real reason as to why I started doing the podcast was to get sort of real insights and tips from professional golfers like yourself for aspiring golfers, because it's saying that I'm aspiring to do it myself. So if you could give 3 tips to any aspiring golfer, what would they be?
Don't leave any stone unturned. I've definitely been a victim to that. I've let myself down on certain areas and sort of palmed them off to the side and just thought they'll get better on their own, but they won't. You have to work really hard at being what I would say world class at anything. So, you've got to, anything that you're struggling with, find an answer and work hard on it. Enjoy it. I think as soon as you start treating it as a job, it becomes a little difficult. It's always easy to be, enticed by the money and the financial gain and seeing it as it going to work, but you've got to really love what you're doing. So just go out there and have some fun, but work hard on your game. And another one I found myself do, which I shouldn't have done, but do what's right for yourself and not what's right for others. I've watched people do certain things going, I need to do that, but it doesn't always work for you. So, manage your own game, your own swing, what works for you. So do what's right for you and not just because other people are doing it.
No, that's quite a big one at the moment. So everyone's sort of doing like swing your swing and it doesn't care. It doesn't matter what your swing looks like these days. You've got people out there like more.
Exactly. And I definitely became, I've worked so hard on my swing the last few years, trying to perfect this fade that I wanted to have. And it's always been about, position, impact. And I've been looking at it on video and thinking, wow, this is, really moving in the way I want to see it. And then I wouldn't be able to score on the golf course and I wouldn't hit the shots that I saw. And I'm like, maybe I should just go back to basics, back to when I was an amateur. I just used to stand over it and just free swing it. And I never used to like the look of my golf swing, but it produced results back then. So I'm now trying to go back to how I was back as an amateur and just swing it freely and try and make the best score possible.
I think that's probably the best advice you've given today. So I think that's great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on the One Pod Life podcast and giving us an insight into yourself.
No problem. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Good luck when you get back playing in November, and I'll speak to you again soon.
Brilliant. Cheers for that.
So that was Ryan. That was quite an interesting conversation, I thought, talking about how he, go back to what you said about he feels like he let himself down a couple of times when he got to the heights he reached in the European Tour and wasn't able to capitalise on them. But I don't think he'll make the same mistake for the third time. So I'm pretty sure we'll all have faith in Ryan that he'll qualify for the European Tour again and be able to keep that card for quite a long time. So also, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of One Pod Life. I hope you're really getting some good value from this and learning as much as I am from talking to the pros, learning the pitfalls and the right things to do. And I hope it's improving your game as much as it's improving mine. If you haven't already, please do go and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes that I do release. Like I said, I've got a few guests coming up that are quite worthy listening to. And also there's a back catalogue now of 12 episodes that you can also go back and learn from as well. You can follow me on Instagram under as One Putt Life, see my own journey in this wonderful game, and please do let me know what you think of the podcast. Send me a DM or even put it in your stories, or best of all, put a little review on the platform you're listening to. So once again, thanks guys for listening to the podcast. Hope you're really enjoying it, and speak to you again soon.